Welcome to Monday, December 23rd, 2024, your Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. Well, welcome to Christmas week. We're going to have a variety of weather coming as things are in a kind of a slow motion change, as you'll see here in a moment. As we go through this Christmas week, we're going to focus this podcast really on travel. I know a lot of you will be hitting the road and wondering what it's going to be like the next couple of days and just after Christmas. So we're going to focus in on that. There's a lot to talk about, especially looking ahead into early January, but we'll save that for another podcast here coming up. We have a small weather system that'll be coming through the region today. This will produce snow showers in the high country, a few snow showers across the lower elevations. It's a small but moist little Pacific wave coming on through. There's another small system that'll be coming off the Pacific coast on Christmas Eve. That's where it'll be on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, it'll produce some scattered snow as it comes over the Continental Divide. Does look like the Intermountain West will get a little bit of weather out of this system, especially in Colorado, but across portions of Wyoming, scattered snow showers on Christmas Day are going to be a possibility, along with temperatures not dramatically cooler, but cooling off a little bit. Now, after Christmas, the pattern's going to be changing, and this is kind of the slow motion shift in the weather pattern, as we're not going to see a dramatic shift, but rather a gradual shift to colder temperatures. We're going to see a really good influx of snow coming into the mountains. This is a skier's forecast for sure coming up between Christmas and New Year's. And we're going to see some of that weather translate down onto the plains, especially just before New Year's, along with a temperature trend that's going to be not rapidly decreasing, but gradually stepping its way down as the high pressure ridge, which has been so dominant, is finally not going to be able to withstand this barrage of Pacific storms and fronts. In the meantime, though, you would look at this picture and you wouldn't say this was December in Nebraska, would you? Look at Lake McConaughey with open water there, lots of contrails and blue sky, and boy, another weekend of fabulous sunsets and sunrises all across the region. Thanks, Tim, for sending that one, and just spectacular views and spectacular colors. And we're going to see that again, but we're also going to see a little bit more in the way to be able to observe weather-wise other than just clouds. This will be especially true for you mountain folks and folks along and west of the Divide, especially early here in the period. And of course, lenticulators all over the place this past weekend. Beautiful scene there near the Blue River in Colorado. And yeah, that does kind of look like a UFO, doesn't it? A lot of times these lenticular clouds will take that shape, that saucer shape like that. And we've got a lot of those were available this weekend across the region. The satellite imagery this morning is showing the two weather makers rather well. Notice this stretched out area of cloudiness right here. This is a trough, sharp little trough coming on through that's moving rapidly eastward. And this today is going to bring a moist, unstable air mass from the Pacific across the Intermountain West. This is why we're going to see snow showers in the mountains today, tonight, and tomorrow morning across Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado as it comes through. Here is the system that's going to come in on Christmas Day, coming in right behind it. So by tomorrow, this wave will be into Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, producing rain and mountain snows. As it heads east towards Christmas Day, it'll come into the interior west. So here's that little wave. This has been a series of small waves coming through and knocking down the high pressure ridge. This is what came through yesterday across southern Canada and Montana and North Dakota. That broke down the high pressure ridge. This one's going to knock it down some more. This one's going to knock it down some more as well and put an end to it. So this is where we're going to be tomorrow morning. The next wave coming in on Christmas Eve will be into the Pacific Northwest. This little wave will be over the Dakotas, and there'll be a little sliver of high pressure Christmas Eve across Utah, parts of Wyoming and Colorado before this next Pacific front comes on in. This is the precipitation forecast through tomorrow morning. So this is very short spaced here. So if you're traveling today through early tomorrow in this region, between now and Christmas Eve morning, this is where you may run into precipitation. The green and the blues showing where the heavier moisture is going to be. Then obviously get into the red and the yellows here, heavier rain from Northern California all the way up to British Columbia there. But these little areas of snow right here between now and tomorrow morning will cause slick mountain passes and maybe some snow showers along sections of Interstate 80 in Wyoming and Utah. Nothing really big, but there is going to be a little bit of snow. So if traveling between now and tomorrow, if you got to go over a mountain pass or a higher elevation road around this area, you'll have a little bit of weather, a little bit of ice and snow up here in North Dakota. So that gets us through Christmas Eve. So let's now take a look at what happens Christmas Day, before Christmas Day, into Christmas Day. That's what we're going to do next. By Christmas morning, that Pacific front is now kind of a small little low that's going to be over central Utah. And then it's going to go from central Utah and move into northeastern Colorado. You can tell it's not your usual big four corners low. It's not a terribly strong system. It doesn't really have much cold air with it, but it is bringing moist, unstable air off the Pacific coast and pushing it into the Rockies. This is going to lead to some weather. As it comes through by Thursday morning, this is Christmas morning, by Thursday morning, it's going to be in northwest Kansas. So it comes right across the Continental Divide, across Colorado, parts of southern Wyoming, into Kansas, the panhandles here, into parts of Nebraska. Then this very strong, very moist, energetic Pacific jet stream wind is lined up to make sure we don't have a big ridge reform over the Rockies. So this system will come through Christmas Day into Thursday morning. So this is the time frame of Tuesday through the morning hours of Thursday. So you can see there's an area right here in Colorado and back into Utah where you're going to get some snow. Christmas Eve night, Christmas Day, Wednesday, then of course back into the Pacific Northwest, back into the mountains of western Wyoming, the mountains of Idaho, and across the northern half of the Great Basin. Notice we're getting a little bit of moisture, not much, but a little bit of moisture bleeding out into the plains. And this is something Wednesday night into Thursday morning that could cause some slick roads right here. So kind of keep that in mind. You know, it doesn't look like much, but you always want to be prepared. You can see the central mountains of Colorado on Christmas Day. Through Christmas night, we'll get some good snow. And rain develops out into the plains ahead of this system. So that's what the precipitation looks like Tuesday through the day after Christmas morning, through the morning Thursday morning. This is what the snowfall looks like. A little bit more in the way of snow will be associated with this system. So I-70 in Colorado, I-80 in Wyoming into Utah, I-15 in Utah, then the mountain passes across this area right here. There is going to be some winter driving, and this is going to be basically from Tuesday night through Thursday morning in this region right here. Out on the plains here, it's going to be rain down here with that low. You can see the Great Lakes in the northeast getting another little shot of snow coming across the region between Tuesday and the day after Christmas. So the nation's midsection down here is going to mainly be wet roads. Don't see too much in this area right here. But along the divide and west of the divide is where your travel concerns Christmas Eve through Christmas Day into Thursday morning will be. Now let's take the next segment. Before we do that, though, this is the ice potential. Could have some icy conditions across North Dakota, a little bit of ice over the mountain passes, and you can see some speckled areas of ice across the Great Lakes and Midwest. As we get beyond Thursday, Thursday's wave and the Christmas low go up, head into the upper Great Lakes. We can see the ridge of high pressure is getting extinguished, and we have another wave coming on through. These little waves don't look like much, but boy, is this a way to make it snow in the mountains, because west to northwest flow with moist, cold Pacific air is a great way to make it snow across the mountains of Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, northern Utah, and Colorado, especially the mountains north of I-70 into Colorado. And we have more of these waves coming behind it. This will continue to erode the high and get rid of it completely. And notice, we're starting to see a high pressure ridge starting to want to build in the east. That's an indication that we're going to see more in the way of weather in the west. As we go into Sunday, that wave moves through. We still have strong, moist northwest winds aloft over the Rockies, and here comes another wave coming in right behind it. That's going to come across the region Sunday night and into the day Monday. So that's going to push more Pacific moisture into the north central areas of the U.S. So let's look at the next segment, which is Thursday through Sunday. So for those of you traveling Thursday through Sunday, this is the 3-day, actually this is 4 days of precipitation right here. The 4-day period. So this is a new period of precipitation you're seeing on the map. This doesn't include any of the moisture I showed you on the map before. So you can see that west to northwest flow, really good snowmaking into the mountains of western Wyoming and eastern Idaho, into the northern Wasatch, the central mountains of Colorado, the mountains of southern Wyoming. The bighorns don't do as well, but they'll get some moisture out of this. Then you can see there's going to be a lot of weather across the nation's midsection. Now, since warmer Pacific air is coming in, more of this will be rain than snow in a lot of these areas, except the northern areas. We'll take a look at snow here in a moment. And you can see there's a little bit of bleeding out of a little bit of snow getting across east of the divide. Not a lot, but a little bit. And temperatures during this stretch gradually start to go down. This is the 4-day snowfall forecast from Thursday through Sunday. So you can see it's kind of the same areas. If traveling I-80, I-70, I-15, going into the areas in the mountains and west of the divide is where you're going to be looking at some problems. Also, east of the divide, I think there might be a little bit ice and snow in this area, especially maybe Sunday, that we'll need to watch out for. So kind of keep an eye on that. You can see, though, that the mountains are going to do very, very well in terms of getting some significant snow. So if you get new skis for Christmas, you'll be able to hit the slopes with some fresh snow after Christmas through the Christmas period up to New Year's. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, as we go beyond Sunday and as we get into the New Year's week, the high pressure ridge is gone and we continue to see waves coming through. So we've got this next wave coming through Monday. This Monday wave may also produce a little bit of precipitation coming off the mountains into the plains again, along with colder temperatures. There's a realignment. There is a readjustment going on in the northern hemisphere with the whole pattern. It's going to be a slow motion change, but it's going to lead to bigger changes heading into the new year. We'll talk more about that later. We will have a Christmas Eve forecast for you tomorrow. Have yourself a good Monday and travel safely.